Great. Well, good morning. First of all, I want to introduce my co-host on my Sirius radio show, Denis Watson, good friend of mine. So, how many of you here, okay, now be honest now, how many of you here are totally satisfied and happy with their golf games? How many?
One.
Let's see, one person.
Two.
So you obviously play once every 2 years, I would imagine, right? So, isn't it amazing? I mean, hey, we're never happy with this game. We're always looking for something. That's why you guys are here thinking, well, let's see if they've got this little thing that's going to change my golfing life. And that's true. So essentially, I've been teaching this great game for longer than I care to remember, probably close to 40 years now. And I mean, it's been a blast. I mean, I've had the great fortune to work with great players like Denis Watson. I've actually had 19 and a half major winners. When I say 19 and a half, okay, because Denis actually won the senior PGA championship, so I consider that a half. It's not a full one, you know, because they have a major every second week out on that Champions Tour. So
I keep trying to convince him that the World Series was also half a major, so it counts as one. Right.
That's exactly right. So anyway, so having taught for many, many years, this is my probably 9th book that I bring out, The A-Swing, and I haven't actually brought one out for 10 years because basically I didn't have anything new to say. And so we were just sort of going along, and hey, we were helping players, and you know, I felt that sort of teaching needed a little bit of a shake-up. And so this really is an evolution and an extension of what I've sort of believed in through the years, and getting all the feedback from some of the great players like Nick Faldo, or Sir Nick Faldo as he is now, Nick Price. I mean, working with some of the greats through the years, and we're trying to help the masses. I mean, there's a lot of teaching which is focused on the tour players and the top players, but the masses, I think this game, you know, the problem is many years ago we didn't have all this technology that we have today, and so if somebody came for a lesson, it was just my opinion that your swing sucked and you need some lessons. Okay, it was just my opinion. Okay. Today, with advanced analysis as we have with video and computer analysis, 3D analysis, force plates, brain mapping, launch monitors, the basic difference today is that we can actually prove your swing sucks. Okay, so I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference that's gone on through the years. So this book is exciting for me because, say, we've done a lot of testing on it. Essentially, we're trying to make a complex sport, complex game simpler to play. And when you think of the golf swing, it is interesting to note how much emphasis is actually placed. If you think about it, okay, in the golf swing, what do we have? We have the way you stand to the ball, set up, address, whatever you want to call it. Then we have a backswing and a downswing. It is amazing how much emphasis is placed on the backswing. Okay, I mean, if you take lessons or if you listen to instruction on TV, and there's so much involved in how to get the club back. When you think in other sports, you know, baseball, for instance, I mean, it's like you don't really think in terms of, you know, a batter. I mean, I was just out in Hawaii with a former New York Yankee, Tino Martinez, and we played some golf, and we talked about the golf swing and stuff. He said, it's amazing in golf. He said, you know, I worked so hard on trying to get the club back. You know, I never used to think about that in batting. He was a lefty, but I mean, you never used to think about it in batting. It's like, hey, the pitch is coming, I step into it, and boom, you know. And so in golf, there is that element that, hey, we've got to think in terms of how we get the club back. So really, basically, in this A-swing, it's really a different backswing. A stands for alternative. An alternative backswing, which really, it follows scientific principles. It's a little easier to achieve. It's more efficient, and there's a little bit of a baseball component in it. So we're gonna show you a little insight into this A-swing. This book comes out on May the 12th. We've done a lot of promotion for the book, and I'm excited about it because, you know, I really want. My goal is, hey, I love helping people. I always have done. I mean, hey, whether it be a tour player, whether it be a beginner golfer, my job is to sort of get a smile on somebody's face where they can say, wow. Because, hey, let's face it, we all love the game. I mean, to various degrees. And you know, the better we play, the more we love it. It's funny how that works. You know, but the thing with this game is the next day you can go out and really play badly, you know, so hey, you never know what to expect. So I suppose that's what we always live in hope, that something better is going to come along. So shall we get into the A swing here a little, Dennis? I mean, Dennis has been my biggest critic and the biggest supporter through the years. I mean, Dennis won 3 tournaments on the regular tour. How many internationally have you won?
I've won 11 times. This has been an interesting, what would you call it, evolution of the golf swing. And watching David, having David work with me for many, many years, he's always had a certain belief in getting the club a little more up and shallowing a little bit on the downswing. But when we came up with this, or David came up with this, and we started doing it almost 2 years ago, sort of trying to understand how we could swing the club better and have the club be square through the ball for longer without having to manipulate, without having to do things with your hands, where it happens more automatically. And the light went on for me. I went, wow, this is great. This is so easy. The only thing I said to David, you remember, he said, how the hell are you going to sell this? It's so simple. You know, so it's been a fun evolution. In fact, David, I was teaching a friend that I met, just started golf. I went out on the range with him, and he told me he was going to have a lesson with the pro down there at Trump National in Jupiter. And he said, I can't even hit it. So I watched him for a while. He was a lefty, and I gave him a few things to do. And I said, just do these little exercises and try and hit a shot and just kind of relax and keep doing it. And I went back after 20 minutes. I watched him, and he was doing a little better, and he hit it. So I saw him the next day. I said, how was your lesson? He said, you know what? He said, I'm unbelievable. He said, she just watched, there's a lady golf professional teacher there. She said she watched me hit balls for a half hour. And so that's how simple it was. I went and played with him the next day. I couldn't believe some of the shots this guy was hitting. From a beginner to 2 days to actually hitting it out the middle of the club and hitting a 5-iron 170 yards. It was just, it was shocking. But
yeah, we have seen some amazing results because we've actually done studies from a beginner level to tour play level. I mean, I've got one tour player who Dennis is acquainted with who played the regular tour for a number of years, had a couple of wins, a few second places, and he's getting ready for the Champions Tour now. And this guy is so excited. He said, you know, when I get this right, and this doesn't happen with everybody, I can assure you, but when I get this right, I hit 50 yards longer. And the reason being is because he's so much more efficient. Now, we're not guaranteeing people are going to hit 50 yards longer. That would be crazy. Maybe 40, but not 50. But the fact of the matter is, you know, if you can learn to hit the ball out of the middle of the club face on a more consistent basis, you're going to hit the ball longer. It's as simple as that. But how do we do that? I mean, this game can be so frustrating, and to think of the number of things that we try, we work on in order to do this. And you know, this game is true. I mean, think of it. You find a little tip there. Wow, it's really working. And for whatever reason, you know, the next day, the next week, it seems to just disappear. And so, part of this A swing, listen, we all know, hey, there needs to be a little bit of practice in order to sort of reproduce the feel. So when you go out and play, you don't have to think too much. So part of this A swing, we have a 7-minute practice plan, and it's called 7 Minutes to Better Golf, because literally you've got a few little exercises you can work on at home without hitting a ball even, where you can actually develop the feel. So when you go out and play, you really create the sensations that you want in order to hit the ball well. All right, so let's get right into this A swing, and we're going to say I'm not going to give you the whole book here. We're going to leave out the most important parts, so hopefully you buy the book. But anyway. The great thing about this A swing, you don't have to do it perfectly, okay? It's not like, okay, well, unless you do it perfectly, it's never going to work. It feels a little different, and if you actually impart a few of these little thoughts into your game, you're going to see a whole different deal. Okay, right, so essentially, you think, let's talk first of all what a batter does in baseball, okay? So here I am, okay? And I remember I'm from the UK, okay, so I'm not a great ball player, okay? All right, don't play much baseball. It's cricket over there. That's cricket, not baseball. So here we go. All right, so here's the batter, okay? And he's got the bat sort of somewhere up here, right? Okay? Isn't it interesting how, even though the pitch is coming at this angle, a batter never starts with a bat like this, does he? Okay, ever. All right, or anybody playing softball, baseball, everybody's played some sort of ball at some stage in their life. So here you go. Now from here, As the pitch is coming, what happens? The body starts to move, and watch what the bat does. The bat all of a sudden starts to move onto the same plane that the ball is coming on, the pitch is coming on. And that essentially is what we're trying to do in golf. Difference being, instead of being at this angle when we're hitting a ball, we've got to have the club, the implement, at this angle. So that makes it a little trickier, okay? It's interesting how many people make better looking swings with a tennis motion or a baseball motion on a horizontal plane than they do on a plane which is more inclined, like this. So what we're trying to achieve here is to get the club in a position where as we start to move the body, the club can come down on the right angle. Because most of you out here, any of you slice the ball, people who are probably 18 handicaps and above, or maybe 15 handicaps and above, to some extent, will actually defy this natural angle. You can see the angle here? I'm trying to get this club. The important thing is you've got to get the club coming down on that angle. If you get the club coming down on this angle, you're over the top, you're going to swing outside in, and this is where all the problems really come from. And so what we're trying to achieve here is where the club can actually get into the right position coming down so you can go ahead and release it. And that is why we've sort of developed this backswing, if you will. Favorite swing of all time, and people laugh at me because this fellow only started golf in his 20s, okay? A lot of people probably won't even, maybe some people might not have heard of him, some people remember him, and his name was Calvin Peete. Okay, now Calvin Peete started golf pretty late in life. He had an injured left arm, he had a slight bent left arm, and what he did, as he swung the club back, the club face never opened. One of the big problems we see, the most common fault we see with players, the first thing they do, I guarantee you, if you watch your friends or if you see yourself on video, the first thing people do is roll the club back like this. The club does this. And then from here, the club goes up, and it's like, who knows from there on in. If you watch Calvin Peete, and if you watch so many players, Jack Nicklaus to a certain extent, you'll see this, but there was no rotation of the club face. Okay, the club face went back like this, okay? The club actually never got behind his hands, okay? So this would be the club head getting behind my hands and then sort of lifting it to the top. This would be keeping the club head outside my hands. You see my hands are going in. Look where the club face is going. So you can see how vertical the club is. It's the club itself is very upright. Not my arms. My arm in actual fact is actually moving back across my body. And you can see as I get to the top here, I'm in a position where my arms are very compact. But the beauty of this whole movement is that, and this is all the testing we've done, we've had biomechanic testing with this, utilizing the A swing, say, compared to a conventional swing, the butt of the club travels 20% shorter to complete its motion, as opposed to me going, all the different movements that people have. It would be like, I use this as an illustration. If I was going to walk to Denis, okay, think of this as your backswing, okay? If I was going to walk to Denis, okay, that would be the most direct route, right, to get there. That's the simplest, shortest, most efficient route to get there. Now, most people, the way they would get to Denis would be going like this. Okay, then they finally get there. Now, they're at the top of their backswing. So you sort of take a picture and say, well, it looks okay, but yet they've probably traveled, say, at least 20% further. And when you're doing that, you have no ability to what we call synchronize your swing. Because if there's one secret, if you want to take one secret away from good golf, you need to learn to synchronize the outside of the swing, which is this, with the inside of the swing, which is this. So as I move my body, you'll note here, the club completes at the same time that my body completes. Most players, when they go back, their body turns, their arms go, their body goes, and then from there on, it's like Katie bar the door. Now, in my opinion, I reckon that this is the biggest problem with Tiger right now, with his swing over the last year or two. He has lost that synchronization between his arms and his body. And the beauty with this A swing is that it's so easy to get yourself to a point where it's not a long swing, it's not an ultra short swing, but essentially it puts the club in a position where as you swing, as you start to move your body, the club just swings down on the proper plane. If you can get that club on this angle, I know planes confuse people, but all we're trying to really do here, folks, is to get that club back on the same line that it started on. If it started here, no good coming in like that, or coming in like that. The club has to come back on this angle if you want to. It's just a little bit of geometry one has to understand. Let me go ahead and make a swing there, Dan. Now you watch. I'm going to take Dennis through this here a second. Okay. Now this would be normal for so many players. Okay. The hands would leave the body. Okay. The club would do this. And we'll just give you an example of what we see with so many golfers, because the problem is people take the club back with their hands and arms. So now they're here. Okay. So now it's like, whoops, that's a little bit too flat. Let's get it up a little bit. So there we go. Now from here you can see the body really is not even in the equation. So what happens is now the body, I mean, good players, even if they do have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, they find a way to sort of synchronize coming down. Average players don't have that talent or ability, don't hit enough balls to be able to sort of almost find the way to get synchronized, which means through impact, when your body's, if you can see, okay, here's the inside of my swing, here's the outside, and you can see. So as this finishes, this finishes. As I start to move forward, my weight's moving forward to my left side, and you can see, look at the gap between here and here. This remains the same. So as I start to unwind my body, my arms finish in unison. So there's no sign of going sort of, or conversely, you've got to learn that the body and the arms have to sort of mishmash if you want to get consistency. And so the body movement is very simple to sort of illustrate. Dennis, just make a swing there for us now, and you'll see, let's do it face on so people can see what you're doing. Okay, so Dennis sets up to it, okay? He'll wind his midsection, there's a winding, okay? You can see here, so you hear all about core and stuff, and this is what's happening. The core is moving, there's not a lot of wasted movement with the knees. His upper body is winding, and that's it. You know, for people who have problems with flexibility, with this ace swing, you don't need to have a huge long backswing, because he's in a position now, the club is in perfect balance, where as he starts to move, the club is going to start coming down onto that right track. You know what pure swing is here, folks? If I do this, sorry, Dan, let me get in here. If you hold the club with 2 fingers and a thumb, you can try this, okay? Just relax it, so there's no tension. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of tension to address. You hold the club with 2 fingers and a thumb, and you just get the club swinging. Okay, look what happens. First of all, the club does not want to open like this, as most people do, because that means people are manipulating the club. If I just swing it, look what the club does. It almost looks closed here to me. As I swing it up here, look how vertical the shaft is. And as I swing it to the top there, you can see the club actually almost points slightly to the right of the target. Everybody says, oh, you can't have the club pointing to the right. Baloney. Most great players throughout history, Tom Watson, Jack Nicklaus, Bobby Jones, Tiger in his early years, got the club very slightly across the line, because once you do this, you can see as I start down, as my body starts to move, look what the club does. It just falls into position here, and as I swing through, the club just whips. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to use the golf club. You're trying to put more swing into your swing. Most people, they're so tight at address, the club looks like a sledgehammer. They're sort of trying to work the club back, they're trying to work the club forward. It is so inefficient. I mean, I'm sure when you think back when you played your best golf, it just feels like, hey, you know what? It feels relaxed, it feels easy, there's no tension, there's no effort, what they call effortless power. And so, you know, baseball, tennis, hey, you might work on your strokes or your whatever, but then when the ball's coming at a certain speed, you don't have time. It's like you react. It's instinct, okay? So therefore, we have to try to make this swing simpler, so when you do go out and play golf, okay, there's not a whole lot of thought involved. So Dennis, let's go through a couple of things here. First of all, okay, let's talk about the grip. Okay, because I guarantee you, first thing is, with this ace swing, there's a slight change in grip. And I would hazard a guess. Okay, let me get you up here just 1 second, sir. What's your handicap? Don't tell me +3 or something. 8. Oh, okay, well, you're pretty good. Okay, stand up here. Let's have a look here. Okay. Just hold that. What is your name, sir? Mike. Mike, okay. Mike, just make a swing. This is Dennis Watson.
How you doing, Mike? How you doing?
Okay, right. Okay, well, you didn't expect to do this, I'm sure.
All right, David.
All right, okay, go. Just hold the club for me. Okay, make a swing. Okay, go ahead. Okay, just
swing?
Yeah, just don't hit it. Just swing. Just make a swing. Let's have a look. Okay, do that again. Okay. All right. So you're an 8, right? You must be a hell of a putter, Mike. I'll tell you that. Okay, right. Okay, right. Old joke. Okay. All right. Okay. So hold the club there for me. Okay. Hey, you know what? Hey, if the guy one putts every hole, he's going to be an 8 handicap. Okay. Okay. Right. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So hold the club. Let's see. Okay. Let's check his grip out here. Let's see here. Okay. So have you taken any lessons at all? No, I can tell. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay, so we're going to have a bit of fun here. Do we ever make this boring? You know, I mean, instruction basically is frickin' boring, let's face it, okay? I mean, we're trying to liven this up a little bit so you can learn a little something. Have a, you know, maybe you leave here with 1 or 2 little pointers, okay, and the fact you had a good time here, okay, right, okay. Right, it's raining outside, so hey, you could be, you know, hell, you could be getting wet playing golf. Okay, right, now let's just open this hand up. I'm going to show you something here, okay. Okay, open this up here, okay. Now, I want to show you the single biggest fault in golf. You see, now Mike, this grip, okay, how long have you been playing golf?
20 years.
20 years, okay. So you have 20 years of a bad grip here, okay? Because I can tell you, when you grip the club up like this, okay, just hold on to it again, right? Okay. So this is the start, because the grip is so important. Okay, I want to show you something here. Okay, and we see this time and time again, right? This, I mean, it's like...
Over and over.
Okay, so look here. Hopefully you can see that, okay? So where Mike is the red area, okay? He has it up in the palm. Those of you that wear a hole out in your glove, okay, if you have a big wear mark out here, I promise you this is a serious problem, because the first thing you do, okay, hold the club there, Mike, okay? Okay, take your address, okay? All right. The first thing you do, you see, you roll the club face like this, okay, that's your first thing. Have you ever seen yourself on film?
Once or twice.
Have you? Okay, yeah, well, make sure you haven't had a big meal before you look at it. All right, okay, so there you go. All right. Okay, so the first thing Mike does, but the problem is when you grip it in the palm like this, so we're going to show you, because we're going to bring you back in a few minutes. I'm going to show, just hold this, we're going to show you, okay, we're going to think about this now. We're going to get that in the palm, in the fingers, away from the palm, okay? Now you put your right hand on, and we're going to get this hand more on top. So you just want to maybe show them just the difference in this grip here. It feels really natural. I mean, but it's contrary to what most people would talk about. Most instructors would say, hey, you've got to get your hand parallel on the club and so on. You should feel a little difference there. This should feel, but the big difference being is that it allows you to actually set your wrists. See, it's a softer feel. See, where you have it in the palm like this, see, if I do this with Mike, okay, it's almost the only way you can lift the club is with his arms. Because it's like you haven't got much maneuverability there. Okay, can you feel the difference?
Yeah.
So what you'll notice, guys, is you've got a tiny little line in your hand here. Everybody's got it. Got put there for a reason. Everybody's supposed to learn how to play golf. You take that line and you put that right on the side of the club, and then you put your club right on the top of the line of your first finger at the bottom, like that. Okay, you don't want to manipulate your hand down. This is what you see most people grab the club like this. You go with your buddies on Saturdays, Sundays, they go like this to get a hold of the club, and they wrap their fingers around first, then they put their palm on it, okay? You want to put the club right in the side of your hand like that, right on that line, side
really
of the grip, right on that
folks,
line.
I'll tell you.
See the grip is right on that first crack of the first finger, okay? And then you see the fingers wrap around at an angle, okay? All right, and you should have like a 2.5 knuckle grip with that, and you'll see this V, you know, obviously traditionally points up between the chin and the shoulder somewhere, okay? The difference between the A-swing grip, what we're talking about today, and the traditional grip was like a 1.5 knuckle grip. We're going 2.5 to 3 knuckles, okay? Side of the hand, first crack of the first finger, angularly around the grip, wrap it on. That's a 2.5 knuckle grip for me when I'm looking down when the club's down there like that.
And the big difference is when Dennis puts his right hand on the club. This is where a huge difference from the regulation grip is. You want to get your right hand on top of it, and we'll explain why, because we're going to get Mike up a little bit. What I want you to do, Mike, hold the club there, right? Okay, now, I want you to take this club, go and sit down there, and don't let go of it until we bring it back up again, okay? Because we're going to create a little bit of muscle memory. Just pick it up and re-grip it. Just do that a few times. This is how you get your grip right. Seriously, folks, you can get your grip right watching TV. Okay, you don't have to go out there and hit millions of balls. You know, the whole focus of the A swing is minimal practice, maximum benefit. How about that? Okay, so you don't have to go out there and whack thousands of balls to get better. Okay, so can you feel the difference there? That's going to be a big thing for you because the wrist action is really important in this A swing. And if you grip it badly, I can tell you right now, the first thing it puts all the emphasis in is on your arms and shoulders and everything else, just sort of taking the club back. So so go sit down like a good boy. Don't let go of that. Hey, don't lose the grip now.
Don't hold that thing too tight.
All right, exactly.
All right, so what you'll notice with the left hand is that your thumb and your forefinger are kind of level. This is what you see a lot of the time, long thumb. You don't want that. Bottom of the thumb about level with that finger. You see how those fingers are angled around the grip. Now what David was saying, the right hand, there's a big difference here. Instead of going underneath like you see all your buddies do, get that sucker on underneath there and wrap it on like that with those fingers nice and tight around the grip. We put it on the top. Lifeline, right down the middle. There's a little groove, a little saddle in the top of your hand. Take that and put it right on the top of your thumb. Okay? Now you see those fingers will wrap around at an angle again.
And you can use, it doesn't matter whether you use interlocking, overlapping, or baseball.
Overlap, 10-finger.
Doesn't matter.
Whatever you want. I have a modified overlap because I got a really short pinky finger, so I just let it rest on the knuckle. You see, some guys wrap it in there, some guys don't do that. So, but the big thing, guys, instead of having the grip on the side with both V's are going in the same direction was the traditional thing, right? Hand comes on top. When you look at this line from your right finger here, your right hand, right first finger, it comes up between your right shoulder and your left shoulder and your chin, kind of just towards your eye. Big difference.
Much different grip.
Big difference, okay?
And it feels relaxed too. I mean, out of 10, okay, 10 being ultra tight, 0 being nothing, you probably want about a 4. Okay, that's how much softness you want, because the tighter you grip it, the more your hands and arms get involved with this deal.
So what you notice if you try it out, if you don't have a club in your hand, 2 of you do. So if you got this hand on the side here tight, you do this, it actually creates a bit of tension. Put this hand on top here in the right spot like that, and your hands are in sync with each other. They work in unison. You can hinge your wrists really comfortably, and you get that what we call the prayer position, butterfly position.
Yeah, it's like this. See this, guys? We call this the butterfly position or the prayer position. When you put your hands on the club, if you hold it up, you literally should see the angle of the back of your left wrist and the angle of the back of your right wrist the same, because we're actually trying to maintain that all the way through the backswing, almost up until impact. And it's the ability to actually lever the club. That's where you get so much power. You're not going to get much power doing this. But if you have the ability to set the club correctly and get your body and your arms working in sync, you're going to see a big difference. The final thing about the grip is, folks, the reason why people grip the club incorrectly is because most people, they grip the club as if their arms hung like this. Now, as a little test, just a couple of you stand up, just 2 people stand up, doesn't matter who you are. Okay, right. Just put your arms down in front of you like this. Just let your arms hang, okay? Here we go, just lift them up, there you go. Okay, just stay there, okay, right? Somebody, you stand up there, yeah. Come on, just put your arms down. Just let your arms hang. Okay, just turn and face the audience, if you will. Okay? Okay, you see, as they do that, do you notice how their hands point inwards? You see, it's this way.
So you can see this gentleman, his hands point a long way in. He sees that's kind of ape-like.
Be nice, be nice.
Then we've got more like Homo sapien over here. See how his hands are rotated out a little bit more. That's something you got to consider when you're taking your grip, but there's always a rotation in. Some people are more than others.
So when you grip the club, if you took the club at the same angle as your arm is hanging and then bring it out, you'd be amazed, all of a sudden it forms in the right position in the hand. It positions itself correctly. Most people are gripping the club as if their arms hang like this, and they put the club in there, and that's why it gets up in the palm. I mean, it's very simple, but anatomically, we want to grip it because in a way that, okay, look here, so you always just put the club across you like that, boom, there you have it. Simple. So that's the grip. Okay, folks, all right, so we've got to stand to the ball. Just take your dress position there. Importantly, we're not going to go into great depth there, but the easiest way to feel, I talk about trying to give images, okay? If you're going to stand to the ball, we see a lot of people stand to the ball in a very funny manner. So they sit down here, they're sort of like this. They don't look very athletic, okay? You can always tell a good player. You walk down the range at any professional event and you see the players all look really good. The easiest way to do this, if you are on the edge of a pool and you're going to take a racing dive, okay, that's how you would stand. You can see, okay, a little bit of knee flex, you've got your butt out slightly, you're angled, you're bent from the hips there, and if you're here and then you put the club in your hands, that's a really, really good image to try to picture, as opposed to sort of this. I mean, imagine trying to dive off the side of the pool like this, or like that. I mean, you couldn't do it. Here, you're in a position where you can actually spring and lurch forward. So posture is important. The next element, because once you get your setup, because in the A swing, there's 3 basic elements that we talk about. The setup, grip and posture. We talk about ball position and alignment, certainly. But the way the body moves is really important. And let me explain something to you here now. You know, the most useless term in golf, in my opinion, most useless word is turn, okay? Well, when people try to turn, okay, they say, hey, you've got to turn, you're not turning your shoulders, so they turn. Okay, as soon as they turn, it's like they put the club in all sorts of funny positions. Do we turn? Yes. There's a rotation, absolutely. But the way the body moves, okay, if I put my hands down, just resting inside my thighs here, this is the way the body actually winds, okay? It's like a piston movement. Look, I'm moving this way, that's how, and am I turning? Yeah, but you know what I'm doing? I'm actually winding my body. If I just do this, remember the secret for power is how you wind your body up, and that energy then is transferred into your arms and hands into the club. So if you wind up correctly, even if you don't have a long swing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter how much flexibility you have. Obviously, the more flexibility you have, the better. But if I just make the same movement here, that short movement, I really feel my stomach muscles winding, your core winding. And once you get, it's like a martial arts expert, the movement is, it's an unseen movement. Yeah, you look at the fist and you look at the forearm, but the power comes from your body. But the problem is, okay, you can get your address, you can get that pivot, but if your club is doing something like Mike's is doing, which is very common, does this, all of a sudden you could practice that pivot drill for 100 hours, and yet as soon as you make one swing, the body would look like that. And you say, well, listen, you know, your knees going down, you're dropping your shoulder, you're not getting your weight going back, you're reverse pivoting, okay? Your arms are lifting. And it's all really, the fact is that the club is moving on such a treacherous journey, and that the body can't really control it. Ultimately, this pivot motion is really the controller. This is the leader in the field. So watch when Denis swings here now. When he makes this swing, okay, he's going to have that same movement. And what we're going to do here, we're going to describe now, okay, what actually happens in this A swing. Because what the A swing does, it puts you into the proper position at the top in such a way, watch, as Denis goes back, look where the hands are, look where the club is. Even to a point where we have the shaft actually almost at this angle. This is where the variation of the A swing can come in. Not everybody's going to be able to get to here, but if you were anywhere near sort of here, let me just go back and forth here. So if you were there, this would be the ultra hot version. This would be sort of more medium hot. This would be mild, but anywhere between here and here, if you've got the club up on its end, you will find that your arms and your body will complete the backswing almost at the same time. And this is what we call the V plane, okay? If you notice here on the picture, okay, this is one of our young students who plays on the web.com. This, look at the plane going back, look at the plane coming down. The backswing plane, in this case, as long as his body's moving correctly, will allow him to get the club into the right position coming in. What is the backswing for? It's a stepping stone to the downswing. But it gives people so many problems, and you'll see here as Denis does this, watch again. Look where Denis's hands are here. That is key. Hands are in, club is out. And I'll keep repeating that to players. Hands in, club out. Hands in, club out. There's the club, that's steep. Now he swings back, and it's interesting, as much as Denis gets the club very vertical here, at the top of the backswing, it's not an upright backswing at all. You can see the club is actually in a very neutral position. Also note that the angle that Denis had with his wrists, this butterfly position, is still maintained at the top of the swing. If Denis was to do this, let's do that little exercise. This is one of the little drills we have. This is one of the sort of little 6 exercises in the 7-minute practice plan. Denis starts here. He's got the angle here. Now he just winds up, extends the arm slightly, and that's his backswing. And notice that. It's very, very easy to get this feeling, wind it, There she goes. And you can see at the top of the backswing, there's no lift. I'm going to put, we've got this, one of the things we really try to do is eliminate the lift in the backswing. If I put this, we call this the boomerang. That fits under the arm. I mean, just shove it right up. Just lift your arm a little higher. Put it right up there. So there's no lifting of the arms at all. It's just a winding. Watch here. Look how short Denis is. You see how, look how short the distance the arms have traveled. There's no lifting of the elbow and the arms flying all over the place. Now he starts down, boom. It's just, it's an easier, the whole thing with the A swing is an easier way to get to the top of the backswing. It just, we need to make this game simpler. It's way too technical for most people. Most people have no idea how to get the club back in such a position where now, when he starts from here, there he goes. All right, you want to hit a couple? Okay, do some easy ones there first, Denis. And you'll notice the balance that he has there. You know, ultimately, this pivot motion that you do here, if you did it this way, we've illustrated in the book where you can actually do it this way, where you really feel your core muscles working. But you know, when your swing feels and looks like that pivot motion, then you've got this A swing. Because your body is very much in control of this whole action. Not a long swing. That's why it's called the boomerang, because it comes back to you. It's got magnets in it. You see, so the first thing I do with a lot of golfers, I'll just get them here and say, okay, there's your top of the backswing. Okay, now go ahead and hit it. It's amazing. If you get into that position up top there, and a lot of people say, well, why do you need a backswing? That's a good question. But because what really happens in a swing, as you're completing your backswing, so you actually start your downswing. You don't actually get to the top, stop, and everything comes to a halt and you start down. Be very much like a batter in baseball. As the pitch is coming, they're actually starting to step into it as the bat goes back that little bit further. So those of you who played a bit of ball will know that. So you want to get to the top and just hit one from there, Denis? All right, so wind it up. There, right, now. And you'd be amazed how very simply somebody starts to feel, wow, the club's in such good balance. Well, I have amateurs actually hit the ball further this way, stopping, than when they actually make a swing in a continuous flowing motion. Here's another great little exercise which actually helps to emphasize this. Is splitting the hands. You'll notice Denis when he sets up to it, just...
Take out the hands 2 inches apart.
Now watch what happens here as he goes back. See, look where the left hand is, look where the right arm is. The right wrist now hinges, the right arm stays on top. Look at the angle of the shaft. Now he just winds to the top. And you rehearse this little feeling where you get to here, you get to this position, you get to that position, with the look where the shaft is, look where my arms are. Then all I do from here is I just completely wind my body, and there I am. Now from here, as I start down, I know that gravity is going to actually help the club to get in a good position. I don't have to try to force it from the inside, get my elbow pulling down, thrust my hips there, get you know, all the things that people think about on the downswing, which takes about 1/3 of a second. You can't think of all that stuff. So you have to be in a position, very much like baseball, where here you go, you move, and the bat, in this case the club, finds its right plane. So
that's the dynamic that you're looking for, to be able to use the weight of the club and gravity. What you see in the traditional swing, or the way it's been taught for a long time, is this sort of rotation up, bit of separation of the arms from the chest. Arms kind of run off a little bit at the top of the swing. I mean, that would look pretty good for most people. The shoulders got a little more level. As soon as you separate your arms from your shoulders up here, from your chest, the shoulders begin to turn slightly more level. It's hard to go back under again. So now your shoulders are more level. So when you start down, you get the same dynamic. The problem is the hands are so much higher, and because your weight went backwards, it's going forwards. The club is trying to swing in this direction. So now you have to make a compensating move to come back down. So you see this move a lot. Guys start down, and then they do this to get the club back down, but the body has to slow down for the arms to catch up. And then it's got to pick up speed again. So that's where the synchronization problems come. That's why you see guys have played very well like this, won tournaments like this, but they hit balls all the time. They learn how to time that movement. What the A swing's done for me certainly is I can go 3, 4, 5 days without even hitting a golf ball. It takes me 4 or 5 shots, and I feel it right out the middle of the club already, because I don't have to worry about compensations. I mean, I used to get it a little high and a little square, and kind of hang on to it and wait for things to kind of build up and catch up and then let the arms go a little bit. With this move now, it's so linked to the body. You can see the difference is very stark. From here to here. The hands are so much lower and closer to the body as you start down with your legs. The feeling's still the same, guys. Here, front of the left leg. But the hands are so much lower. And all the forces are going down into the ground so that the club can return on the same plane back to the ball. And that club face can stay square to the path, plane line, whatever you want to call it, for longer. So you're much easier. I mean, the ball comes out the middle of the club face so much more often.
I was with Gary Player a couple of weeks ago, and we were doing an outing together. And, you know, Gary's 79 now. He said, you know, we were discussing the swing. And he said, you know, what I never understood all the years that I played, and he's won 9 majors. He said, if I'd known this, he said, I would have won double the number of majors. He said, I would have beaten Jack Nicklaus's record. But the thing is, as Gary likes to describe it, which is absolutely right, you have 2 paths going back. You have the path that your hands and the top of the club move on, and you have the path that the club head moves on. Most people, unfortunately, don't understand that, and they sort of, one bisects the other at some point in the swing. But you can see, as you do this, the hands stay in, the club stays out. The hands work on their little track, this little circle. The club head works on its little track. And what we're suggesting is that the club head never gets behind the hand. So from here, you can see, as short as this swing is, I've got, my wrists are fully loaded at this point. And if your club is in balance here, I can assure you, look what happens from here. If I have the club up, look what the club wants to do. See which way it wants to go? Now, if I get this way, some good players, if they have very fast legs, do that. But what most players do from here, they go the opposite way. Okay, that's instinct, because you're trying to somehow get the club back onto the ball. So there is an easier way to make your backswing, I can assure you. Mike, let's get you back up here again. Okay, now after listening to all that, you're totally confused, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, so you hold the club. Okay, right, you get, how's your grip feeling?
Good.
All right? All right, so you undid 20 years of bad habits just sitting over there by yourself. Great. Okay, now you feel the right hand on top. Okay, so take your address there. Okay, set up to it. All right, so now, you notice how, see, this is very typical, okay? Just stay where you are, Mike, okay? Right. Okay, you see, many players, if I drew this line, here's Mike's hip joint right here. If I drew this line down, you see how when he does, look where his line forms. You can see everything's sort of underneath him like this. When you set up to it, now come up here, a little less knee flex there, Mike. Okay, now this, you can see this line here, through the back of your knees, through your ankle form one line. Can you feel that? Can you sense that? So it's like here, here, here. So you feel probably more on your toes, right? Okay.
You just went from an 8 to a 4.
Because I can tell you, because you had a double whammy going. That bad grip and your posture, everything was going to go around and inside. So now as we go back, you can see as you start to move, you can see you're going to start to move your core here, right? Now look where the hands go. In fact, let's do this without the club a second. Put your hands like this on your stomach here, right? Feel your obliques. Now this, I'm going to move you. You're going to shift. Now watch. You're going to feel almost you're shifting this way. Watch. Go ahead. Okay, now just calm that knee down a little bit. Get your feet a little wider too there. Right, there we go. Good. Right, let's see here. Right, watch. There you go. Right. Now you should feel this shoulder going down a little bit more, this shoulder going up a little bit more. This is the way the shoulders work here, folks. If you're back on your heels and as he wings his arms here, Mike's shoulders work like this. You can understand why he dragged the club around him. Now watch as I do this again. Here we go. So you're going to feel like almost like your shift, it's almost like a V. You're going up this way. Okay, don't think of turning level. You want to feel like you're going almost, it's like a piston. It's this way. Okay, feel that. There you go. Good. Now we start moving forward. Here. Good. Now you feel your pressure on your front foot here. Now we unwind and unspiral in the same way we just did going back. Now watch. Through. Now, I can tell you, within a few minutes, I can get anybody in this room here to have a really good-looking pivot motion. It doesn't take a lot. Some people will be able to move a little bit more than others. You're actually pretty flexible, Mike. You've got good mobility here. Get your posture there. Right, hold it there. A little less knee flex. You only want just a little bit of knee flex. You don't need to be sitting down too much. Okay, wind it. Wind it, wind it, wind it. Good. Now start to move forward. Your lower body moves first. There you go. Do you feel how your lower body started to move first? Mm-hmm. Okay, now you unwind. Boom. And you can see that's got the resemblance of a pretty good looking move. Now, but if you insist on going around like that, it'll never look like that. Okay, so that's the goal. The goal is to split it up, okay? Get your posture right, get the pivot right, and then with a good grip, you get the swing right. So now, let's show you how we're going to do this. Let's get this grip right. Put it more on the fingers. There you go. That's it. Now, Mike, I don't know how often you wash your hands, but I'm going to just put a couple of lines on your hands so you don't forget this. Open this up here. There we go. A little bit of hydrochloric acid. You'll get that off there, no time at all. There we go. Now, that's where we want it, okay? Forget that, okay? No. All right, we got that? Okay. All right. All right, I'll sign this for you if you like, Mike, too, in a second. Okay, hang on. Here we go. Now we put that around. There we go. See the thumb's short. See how this is disconnected here? Now you put your right hand on. Beautiful. Okay. Now you see if you hold that up, you see you've got the same angles here. All right. Okay. Now get your feet apart. Okay. Right. Now just relax these arms a little. Just relax them. Soft. That's it. Soften them up here. Okay. That's it. Now you're going to. I want you to feel the same movement with your body that you just did. Okay. Come on, feel it. Okay. Now. All right, do you see the difference there, folks? Okay, when we haven't got video here, but I can assure you at this point that Mike's club at this juncture was over here and his hands were over there. This is so common with so many players. Now, from here, okay, we just let this right wrist hinge. Keep going, keep going. And that is the top of his backswing. He needs no more than that, because if he moves his body in the way we've just asked him to do, now move your body forward. Look what the club wants to do. You see how the club goes from here to here? And that's, if there's a magic move in the golf swing, that's it. Everybody talks about the magic move from here, forward, boom. Now that club is in a very different position. You can see your hands are dropped, your elbows in front here. As you move your body, you look pretty good there, Mike. As long as you don't hit a ball, you're going to be off zero. Okay, keep going. There you go. Do you feel your body more involved there?
Yeah. Okay,
but the key, you've got to break it up. I'm rushing through this a little bit. I mean, we wouldn't go quite as quickly normally with the student. Just relax your arms. Okay, there you go. That's it. Feel like your arms are totally relaxed. The only reason the arms are moving is because your body's shifting right through your core. That's it. There is a little bit of weight shift, absolutely. Now watch. Now we've set that right wrist. Look where the shaft is. You see how vertical that is there? Now you keep this left arm. Keep moving across your chest. Hold that there. And that's as long as a swing as Mike would ever want. I mean, he's perfectly coiled. His arms and his body have arrived at the same time. Now he starts down. There you go. Now, from here, now, I'm just going to get there. I'm going to ask you to move forward from here and then unwind. So you're going to move your left hip forward and then clear it out of the way. So hold it there. Stay right there. Okay. Now, when I say go, you go. Let's see. Rip it. Okay, come on. Rip it there, Mike.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Here we go. Relax. Just relax your arms. Here. Here, here, hold that there, right? You can feel that. Now, you're gonna shift and rip. Go ahead. Yeah. Now, you're gonna pick up so much more speed here, it'll be ridiculous. So that's a great exercise for you to practice. So, get the book, okay? In the book, seriously, there's 200 illustrations in it. We've really done I think, a really good job of going through it bit by bit. You can just take little pieces out of it. I promise you, it frustrates the hell out of me. All the people people come back to me and they've got the same damn old habits they had 20 years ago. Even this guy over here in the red shirt. I mean, it's like, this is part of the frustration that I've had, even in amateurs more so. They just keep going back to the old faults, and it's like, one of the beauties with the A-swing, these things you're working on here, okay, you can never, ever, ever overdo this, ever. You can do this as much as you like. Now set that right wrist. Okay, keep going, keep going. That's it. All it's going to do is get your swing a little shorter, a little more compact. It's going to get there a little earlier. So in other words, your arms and your body are going to match up better. Now from there, step into it and rip it. Good. Now you're an 8. Okay? Even if you're a lousy putter. Hey, thanks a lot. That was great. Thank you, Mike.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, nice to see you. I had one guy come up here one time, similar to Mike, and he said, he was quite upset. He said, I really didn't come up here for all this abuse. So I said, well, where do you normally go? He was just that sort of person, But anyway, it's interesting. How are we doing on time?
One thing I wanted to...
Hang on, one thing, Dennis. One thing, sorry. I'm going to let Dennis do this. Because a lot of people say, does this work with the driver? And there's 2 things that you need that we really want to go through before we finish off. And we'll have a couple of questions as well. The driver works exactly the same. And the important thing to understand is the only thing that we really haven't mentioned, which is important, and maybe want to swing towards the crowd there, is the release. Okay, a lot of people don't understand what release is all about. Okay, how do you release the club? Okay, what actually takes place? So here you go. Listen to this closely, folks. So there's Denis. Okay, now watch what happens here. Look at his right hand. Okay. You notice the way, if you ever want to think about how it releases, I mean, you might have heard this example before, but it's like skipping a stone across water, okay? Once you do this, okay, and I was speaking to this Tino Martinez, who was a shortstop, and he said, okay, I said, Tino, let me see how you throw a ball. And what he did was this. He went like this, and his right hand went like that. There was none of this. What do we do? What do we see in golf? You see, well, I've got to roll my forearms to square the face off to stop it slicing, okay? How much speed do you get that way as opposed to going that way? And it's literally, if you're going to throw a ball, that's exactly what happens. Describe your feeling of the right hand there, Denis.
So obviously you've got the backswing down now. You don't need any help with that, right? So as you start down, you get the dynamic move into the front of the left foot. Arms are coming down nice and close to you. As you're starting to post up on your left leg and unwind, you'll notice that the club face is not open like you see with most guys coming into the ball, where they've got to slow down and do that. Okay, that's a pretty common thing. You see it on TV a lot, all right? Difference here, hands are a little lower, a little closer, going left more. You notice the club face is square to the plane line, square through the ball. And this right hand, it's almost like you're throwing a ball from this position here. If I had to put the club there in that position, I just throw my right hand, it's going to go right there. This hand is facing up the plane line. That being the plane line from the ball up through the shaft.
Yeah, don't get too confused. Planes, I mean, they confuse the hell out of me, so don't worry about it. You know, what the hell am I talking about? Planes. But basically, it's just pretty much this. Think of just this angle that the club started on, okay? It's not a horizontal plane, it's not a vertical plane, it's an inclined plane. So that's all we're talking in terms of plane here. And then you can see Denis's right hand, it's like literally throwing a ball, hitting a tennis ball. This feeling of the right hand where you can actually feel with this, it's so powerful because you really feel your right side. I mean, hey, most of you play right-handed for the most part, have a pretty strong right side, okay? An educated right side. So use it. I mean, Ben Hogan used to say, hey, I know when I'm in the right position, I wish I had 3 right hands. I want to hit as hard as I can with my right hand. So using your right hand correctly is perfect. Okay.
I remember Johnny Miller. I played with Johnny Miller a long time ago at a British Open, and he was explaining what he felt through the ball, and he felt like when he was in the right position, he could hit as hard as he wanted to with his right hand. And I actually had it for a little while, but I didn't have a clue where he got it from. And since I've been working on this, the last 2 years, it is so simple to go back. I actually do exercises with a medicine ball, and I just stand here and just throw it into a rebounder, and the right hand is facing up towards the sky. It's such a simple move. The arms just stay connected to the upper body. There's no manipulating or anything. You just, boom, right hand under, left hand up, this way, as opposed to traditional sort of thoughts in golf. The only reason they've done that is because the club face is behind and open. Club face is behind and open, and you have to, from here, the only way you're going to hit the ball is to slow something down, and once you start this unwind, it keeps going that way.
And you can imagine, so your club face literally is on square to the target line for such a short space of time. This way, if you do it right, the club face stays square to that arc all the way through. So through impact, it's just, boop, you don't have to sort of manipulate it at all. So there in a nutshell is the A-swing. It honestly, lady golfers who have excess flexibility, it shortens swings, it synchronizes swings, it gets more power, it gets more consistency, and it's a so much easier way to go about it because, I mean, I'm hoping that the teaching world, okay, my fellow teaching professors will look at it and say, hey, you know what, we need to change something. This game is too difficult. We've been teaching the same old for so many years, and people aren't really getting any better. Hence, none of you put your hand up and said, hey, listen, I'm really happy with my golf game. Now, we know not everybody takes lessons. Some people do, some people don't. But if you have a little understanding of what you're trying to do, make a few swings at home. This is one of the things devised this little club so you can use it in the office, you use it at home where you don't kill anybody, or your dog, or your chandeliers, or whatever, what have you. And so just by feeling what you're trying to do with this swing, and as I say, you can see, here we go. And it feels, you know, everybody that's tried this, I can tell you without exception, after a short period of time, said, you know what? This feels so natural. And that's what it's all about. If you can get it feeling natural, then you've got it. Right, we've got time just for a couple of questions, I think, folks. I don't know who's on next. We don't want to steal his thunder here.
Your backswing hand for your hand stayed in front of your body.
The question, I don't know if you heard the question back there. Hands in front of the body all the way back. What I like to think about is hands in and under. Okay? Club head out. The hinge is towards the ear or towards the face. The hinge is not rotated.
So this literally is almost like the butt of the club is pointing behind his right thigh here.
Let me show you that from, I'll grip the club a little shorter, okay? So I almost feel like the club is pointing behind me at this position right here. And then instead of the traditional, you keep that club pointing at the ground behind your foot.
And you can see, look how short a distance this end has traveled. You see how far, I mean, his hands just went like this. There was none of this sort of stuff.
One thing I wanted to say earlier was when you notice with Mike, he was trying to get his arms very tight, and I'm sure a lot of you believe that you try and keep your elbows close together and keep it in one piece going back, right? Well, what happens when you get the proper grip and you hinge your wrist? What happens to my elbows? They separate, correct? They get a little wider apart. Okay, keep the arms relaxed. As you hinge, you let this right arm separate away from the left a little bit.
You can see his right arm's above his left, all the way back to the top. Look, I look here, the right arm is still above the left. We see players, you look at them, their elbows, oh, well, I've got to tuck my elbow in. You know how many myths there are in the golf swing? Tuck your elbow in, okay, well, you know, that doesn't look too good. That doesn't have no width in your swing. It's very difficult to sort of create any sort of power. So you do this sort of thing, because the reason why people say that is because maybe they did this and their elbow was flying. So they say, hey, you're flying your elbow. Keep your elbow tucked in. So what does that do? That really doesn't solve the situation. Any other questions there? Sir?
With the right hand up top.
Yeah.
That cupping of my right hand, which I've been working on for a long time.
Right.
Seems to me like it should be natural. Long after the ball's gone. Is that correct?
Okay, so the gentleman's been trying to get his right hand cupped for a long time. When you have your hand strong like this on the club and you get it to the top, it's hard to get that hand to hinge properly. As soon as you get your grip on it in the right place, that hand will drop right like that. That's the position you're looking for.
This really goes against the grain for most teachers, because most teachers say, well, if you're like that, you're going to slice. And I agree, but the only reason that somebody would slice is because from here, if they rolled it open like this, and then they rolled it closed. So the cure, in most people's cases, will get your right hand right underneath that. That'll keep the club face more closed. That's not the cure. If you get your hand here, this allows this right hand. See, this is the way your hand hinges on the backswing. It doesn't do this. It hinges this way. So if your right hand works that way, now you get to the top. As you come down, now it works this way. It's funny, you know, golf is funny in as much that because of this angle, okay, everything appears different. People make much better golf swings when they're swinging on this plane. It's amazing. But when you've got sort of the club up here and it's coming down on this angle, everything changes. So that's why this is a very natural approach to literally to get the club set in a simpler position. Essentially what this does, the A-swing, it helps to synchronize the backswing. It puts you in a simpler position to start down. And the biggest thing is it allows your body to work correctly. As we were showing with Mike here, with this pivot, because if he's in the right position there, when he starts to move forward, the club just, all it does is react to what the body's doing. So you don't have to think about where the club is and what's happening and it just automatic. And that's, so anyway, so there's a little insight into the A-swing, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, you probably have more questions than answers, but try it. Hey, you know, as golfers, hey, we'll do anything to play better golf, okay? And a little bit of perseverance, and I say, I hope, you know, my hope is that the people really like this, because I say I'm going to give it a big push Our academies are teaching it. We've got, I've got really good players. I've got players of high handicappers who are starting to play better golf, and it's all about, hey, how much more fun can you have playing playing this game? Because we all know the more good shots you have, the more fun you have. Despite what everybody says, I'm just out there for the walk. I like the the fresh air and the birds and the trees and all that baloney. Okay, let me tell you, if you're losing 12 balls around, it's not a whole lot of fun. But if you go out there and you're starting to hit it, hey, I'm just hitting it really pretty consistently. I'm not having to work so hard. I don't have to practice that much, and it makes sense, and that's the whole key. So I want to thank Denis for joining me. Thank you very much for coming, folks. Have a great golfing season.